Hello, everyone, and welcome to DM Talk. Here in DM Talk, I'm Henry Knight, by the way. I'm DM for Playerole. This is going on the second season for Playerole. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed our content so far, and I have a lot more coming. A lot more to enjoy, a lot more storyline, a lot more combat, enjoyable things. I'm just looking, I always look behind here. I just have a little twitch in my neck. Making sure the screen's good. Either way, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central, we have a big game, Draw City Part 4, Season 2, Episode 8 of The Light. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. But tonight, DM Talk, I have plenty of topics to talk about. Before we get into it, I'm just gonna see how's everyone doing tonight. Doing good? I am doing good. I think Dungeons and Dragons as a whole is doing good. I know a lot of folks are, I want to talk about this briefly, a lot of folks are angry about the player's guide and all that other stuff. And you know what? Everybody to each his own. Everybody's got their own thing. For me, I enjoy gaming. I've been gaming for a very long time. I'm 52 years old, and I've been gaming since I was 14 years old, give or take, somewhere around there. It's just one of those things. You've been gaming for a long time. You know a lot of people in the gaming world, role playing wise, and you have a lot of fun. Now, the games have changed since then. What do I mean? Well, in the gaming world that we know, the gaming world back then, it was more theater of the mind. Yeah, people had miniatures, but it wasn't like it is now. Not so, you have trees and houses and so many things you have at your disposal. From minis to terrain to whatever it is. I just mentioned earlier a creature of the realm that I was using, Heroescape. Heroescape is very cool stuff, but do you use them? You know, it all depends on how you want to do your game. You're the DM. You can tell me right now, hey, Henry, games are games and there's rules to apply and I'm just a rule cruncher. Fine. There's nothing wrong with that. In my games, I run them loosely. What I mean by that is the rules are a guide. I use that 100% because players come up with cockamamie crap. And what I mean by that is if you are in a scenario and the players are going to jump in and do what they want, the rules are there as a guide to apply them to make sure they don't do that, right? But in general, when you play the game, you're there to have fun, and ultimately, that's it. I wash my hands. Not going to say more on that subject. Having fun is the number one thing. You all have to remember that. Like I said, I've been role-playing for a long time, and every rule book could have, well, on page 55 of the Dungeon Guide, the Player's Manual, there's a rule that says this and blah, blah, blah. Understand that rules are just guides, guys. And once you know that, you could have a lot of fun playing the game. You're there to role play. You're there to act your character. Play your character to the best of your ability. It's your job as a player to make sure that you know your character enough to play the game. And we've talked about this in previous episodes. But I'm not going to talk to that part of it. I'm not going to talk much about that. We're going to talk about flow of the game. And I've talked about this briefly in other episodes, but I want to really focus on flow. And flow are my three topics. Flow of the game, interruption of that flow and what to do and how to deal with that. And part of that is, if you're tired as a DM, you're tired of, not tired of your players or tired of the story or anything like that, just tired in general. You're doing all these things and you are exhausted, and how you deal with that. That's my last topic. But let's talk about flow of the game. What does that mean? Flow of the game is very important. Like I said before, you have your rules, you have your guides, you have the books, what to do, and you have your flow. In combat, you have your sequence, you have your actions, you have your bonus action, and you go. So in combat, when the DM says initiative, player one should be ready with their combat sequencing. Fight, bonus action, whatever. Role play, all that. Whatever he's going to do or she's going to do, that person is ready. Player two, go. Player 3, 4, 5, and 6, or whatever. That's flow of the game. Flow of the game can mean a lot of things, but in combat, that's flow of the game. Flow of the game can mean, well, I disagree with what you said, DM. I disagree with you 100%. I disagree that, I had line of sight. Did you know? How did you have line of sight? I mentioned before in Creatures of the Realm where you have two miniatures adjacent, and if they're hiding behind a building or a tree or whatever miniature or scenario you have in your combat map, you have your line of sight. If you're not playing VTT, which is all video stuff, you're doing live action, take a string or take a ruler, put it on the head of a miniature, and just go through. And if they line up, you have a line of sight. Simple as pie, it works out. Now, make sure that you do that with all fairness, and make sure you're fair to you and the guys you're playing with. What other options do you have? That's flow, because the option one, your player's telling the DM, hey, I got a problem in combat, and you're wrong, DM. Don't interrupt the flow of the game by getting an argument with your players. Talk it over away from the table. I've mentioned that before. That's the best way to continue the flow. Let it flow, talk it over later. Oh, DM, you did this wrong. Look, no DM is perfect. People have issues. People have problems. You make mistakes. Those are the type of things you have to understand, that as DM, you are part of this world, your world, if it's homebrew, or if you're playing Forgotten Realms, or whatever it is, you're reading a source book, you're not going to follow that source book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not. And let me tell you why. Because, get some water. Players have the imagery in their head, and your image is different than their image. What do I mean by that? Player one, let's go back to that scenario. Player one is ready for combat, and he's playing a fighter, and that player is imagining your enemy. I mentioned the goblins in Creatures of the Realm. Let's throw the goblins in there. 5, 10, 15 goblins are coming out of the cave. You're in the forest scenario, and you're a fighter leading the party. Behind you, you have the cleric, the wizard, the warlock, the druid, whatever. They're in the back. You're in the front. You're the tank. You see all these goblins, and here's part of the flow of the game. So you see all these goblins, and what are you going to do? You're going to take your sword. You're going to fight. The DM hesitates in combat. What are you doing? The DM stops. The player already mentions what he's going to do, he or she's going to do. The DM stops, and all of a sudden, there's an issue. What do I mean by stopping? Very simple. stopping the descriptions, not being clear, and the player doesn't understand the scene that you're setting up as a DM. That's what I mean by flow. The DM has to be clear, and we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. It happens. But you have to be clear. Clear about what's happening in a scenario, in a scene, especially in combat. You want to make sure that things are good. You want to make sure that everyone's happy. And what do I mean by that? And I keep saying that. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm trying to explain here. The thing is, when you have a group of players and they are great together and they mesh with each other, and you have a great party, they're going to screw with you, literally. And you have no choice to say, let's go back to the rule book scenario. Well, I'm looking at the source book. I'm using part of the adventure in here, and you're going to have to wing it sometimes because the players are going to go ahead and go in other directions all over. The players are going to go in all different directions, and as DM, you have to compensate for that. You can read Curse of Strahd, you can read whatever source book adventure you want, and I'm telling you, the players are going to jump from one to another. Let me look at my levels and make sure I'm good. Streaming wise, everything looks healthy. Look good. Boom, boom, boom. Everything looks good. I have to check because you never know what's going to happen with the internet. You never know what's going to happen, all crazy crap online. But either way, we're streaming good, so I'm going to continue. So we're talking about topic 1, the flow of the game. And usually for each episode, I do 3 topics. Sometimes I talk about one topic and it'll blend in with the other 2. In tonight's case, the flow of the game is important because that is, I mentioned before in my other episode that role-playing is the core. And it is. You role-play. But the flow connects to that as well. The flow of the game. You can be the best DM in the world. You can describe, and the music kicks in, and you're into it, and you're giving your best performance. But if the flow isn't there, it's going to ruin it. In combat, man, combat is just long. There's so much to do. But there's things that you can do to speed up combat, to make that flow continue without any interruption. If you are describing a scene, and let's say the players are going up against a troll, 2 trolls, and they're having a big battle. Player 1 hesitates, player 2 does not, player 3 hesitates, player 4, 5, and 6 do not. So then you have a couple players that hesitate. You know that before it gets to player number 6, but player number 1 and 3 are hesitating, that time is not going to be on your side. Hang on 1 second. I got a big spider. Holy cow, that's huge. Give me 1 second. If you guys can hear me, I'm letting you know that I've got this nasty spider. Got to take care of. There we go. Ooh, sorry about that. I came back. I'm back. Yeah, that creepy thing was looking at me from 75 feet in the corner. That's huge. Yeah, creepy spider over there, and I had to take care of it. Sorry. I'm not a bug person. So, you have players number 1 and 3 were hesitating. Players 2, 4, 5, and 6 were smooth. What do I mean by that? As a player, you know your character, you know your spells if you're playing a mage, you know what to do. You have your actions, you have your attack, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You have your bonus, boom, you're done. Go. You move on. You're in combat, you're there to attack. Well, what do I want to do? I want to do this, I want to do that. Look, if you're playing a complex character, that's where the flow kind of jams up. Because at higher levels, your player, your class, if you're playing, for example, a wizard, simple at lower levels, but then your spells start to add and add and add, and now you have this montage of spells. And how do you fix these spells? How do you look at your spells and say, I know what I'm going to do on my turn? So player number 2, I said player number 2 is hesitating, right? Well, whatever player hesitates in the game, they look at their spells and they're like, oh, well, I'm not ready. What do you mean you're not ready? If player 1 is attacking and they're a fighter and you're in the initiative order, make sure that you have it done. It's important to understand that the flow of the game is just as important as the role-playing part. You can role-play the game to the best of your ability, but if you don't have that flow in combat or in any scenario, if the players hesitate, or even the DM, if the DM is hesitating and describing or not making it clear for the players, that's going to interrupt that flow. There's things that you can do, which leads us to the second topic. The flow is the main topic of tonight's discussion. Interruption of the flow. What to do if there's interruption? There's the flow just kind of goes all over the place. Well, I just mentioned them just 2 seconds ago. As a player, you know your character. You move, make, combat, move. Bam, I'm attacking, bonus action, boom, go, next. If you are a wizard, warlock, sorcerer, whatever, it's a little bit more complex at higher levels, but if you're playing level 4, level 5, either way, depending on where you are in the initiative, then you can say, okay, I'm going to be the third person, so I want to see what I get with spells. Okay, go ahead and use them. And be careful. Strategy. Man, it's all strategy. Combat, it's all strategy. Just be prepared. Preparation. Know how to play your character. And if you don't, do a little reading beforehand. Oh, I'm playing a druid. I got a hold person spell. That's cool. Hold creature, whatever. I got a spell that can hold somebody. And everybody, you're playing a high level druid, 9th level. You can go ahead and hold person. That's very cool. Very cool to have. DM hates that spell, but very cool. Be ready. Be ready with that. So when it's your turn, you're within range, I cast blah, blah. I cast hold person. I cast wall of water. Those are the things you have to do in a game to make sure that the game flows. Because, and I'm not putting everything on the player, I'm putting everything as a DM as well. Don't get me wrong. If it happens on the player side, it's going to happen on the DM side. And it's happened to me before, where the flow gets interrupted because you got a brain fart. You're thinking about so much in the game, the story, the NPCs, the play, and that's a lot. That's a lot to handle sometimes. And I've been DMing since I was a young guy. But even if you have experience DMing, GMing, refereeing, storytelling, depending on what game you're playing, even if you have experience, know that things happen and it's okay. As long as you're having fun and the players are having fun, take a deep breath. The guys make fun of me all the time when I mess up in my words, when I mess up on whatever. They make fun of me. And you know what? Ultimately, that's part of role-playing that I love too. The players, the guys around you, or gals, they make the game. The community makes the game. Not just Dungeons and Dragons, any role-playing game. You got to remember the party that you're with, the people that you're with, that table, fun is number one. Don't let anything like you guys get in fights about rules or that wasn't fair, take it away from the table. Talk to that person or those people in your game. Talk to people. There's nothing wrong with it. Henry, you screwed up. You forgot about me again on the initiative. And I've done that before where I skip the person over. Look, when it comes to initiative is really crappy. I do not like initiative. I like group initiative. But I'm using initiative because I had a session 0 and everybody kind of voted and said you want to go back to the original initiative. And that's fine. That's cool. But I like speed in my combats. I don't want to hesitate. I want to go and move on. When I play with other game masters or referees, storytellers or whatnot, I feel that I have to be ready. If I have a character sheet and I'm looking, okay, I'm a fighter. What do I use? Do I use a special ability? Oh, wait, I'm only 30 feet away. I'm not going to use special ability right now. I'm the 3rd in initiative level. I have an extra action. I haven't used action surge. Bam, I'm going to use it. There you go. I feel that I need to be on task. That's just the way I feel. I'll feel horrible if I'm like, hang on. No. And if you are a new player, nothing wrong with that. I said that that's an interruption of a flow of the game. Yes. But if you're a new player or newer player and you're learning as you go and you are getting better, that's different. That's very different because you don't want to always be just do it or don't play that class. And as a DM, if you're going to hesitate in a scene or not be descriptive enough for the players to understand what you're doing, you're wrong. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Oh, wait, were they in a cave or in the forest? Oh, no. No, you're in a cave. What do you mean? No, you were outside in the forest and you made your way in. Yeah, but we were outside fighting first. Oh, damn, it's my mistake. That's a part of role-playing that's fun. People make mistakes. I'm telling you, if you make mistakes as DM, the players will give you shit. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's you deserve it. You made a mistake, you're screwed up. And they're going to tell you that. They're going to say, Henry, hey, you skipped over me. This is the second time, man. You deserve it. The third topic, we'll discuss that way later because it'll all fit in, trust me. How do you fix interruption of the flow of your game? How do you fix things that are not going the way they should? The stories flow. You have your beginning, you have your middle, and you have your end. Let's talk about that. Very simple. I love writing. Everyone likes writing. I love writing, and if you're a DM, you're going to love writing. So you're writing, and in your story, awesome. Thank you, Mike. I agree as well. Mike, thank you much for your comment. Players should know when they go and be ready. Yeah, absolutely. I was saying your flow of the story. You have your beginning, middle, and end in your story. In the beginning of your story, let's say you have the big bad that attacked this town, and now the town is recovering from this big bad, this, let's say, warriors army. big bad army, let's say. And they took down the town, and now the town has to recover. But the town wants revenge. And it's not just revenge. The way you wrote it as a DM, it's not about revenge. It's about, protecting the town, making sure that this doesn't happen again. So now you have this impact. You have this story that's emotional because people want revenge. And how do you deal with that revenge? But there's people in the town that are like, no, we don't do that. We don't want revenge. That's not the way we do things here. So now you have conflicting interests. So you have build-up. That's the first part of your arc. The beginning, the middle. The players, the party, they get ready, they go out. Some stay back, they split the party, although I would never do that in the game, but they do anyways. The party goes out, they take out the big bad and the warriors, there's a big battle. Some of the party members die. Then as you return, the rest of the party gets slaughtered. The town's again in flames. What do you do? That's the middle. Now you have your story about revenge, folks that are against revenge, and now you have a split party because of ideologies, and you have the middle of your story, the middle of your arc, that now you come back and the town again is down. What do? Do you go back to the main villain? Do you stay with the town to recover? Stuff like that. See, in my games, the villain just the big bad doesn't say, I'm going to wait and find out when you guys get to me. In my games, when I write it, the main villain is going to do what they do, the timeline. And if you miss and you're not there, it's not railroading. It's you miss. It's that person's gone. That big bad's gone. Have you ever seen a movie where you sit back and you're like, man, it's so predictable? You know what? Predictable movies, I get. But predictable movies are, and I try to write where it's not predictable, but sometimes it's unavoidable because of depending on what you're going in the arc, what you're saying in the arc, what's happening in the arc. People are like, oh, wait, it's going to happen. I saw it happen. They may have seen it happen, but the key is, and when you're writing, is this is what the audience sees, this is what the player sees, but behind that, there's a shroud. And that shroud is going to get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's going to cover everything. And it's going to blow up. And when that happens, everybody is going to get sucked in. The audience, the players in your game, and then your ending. Well, how does that all come together? There's little things that you can do. Yeah, Mike, great point. Mike points out that it's not a video game. The boss isn't waiting for the players. She has stuff to do. Absolutely. I am a firm believer in that. Again, the bad guy is not going to stay there on his throne, fist underneath his chin or her chin, and say, hey, look, I'm going to wait for these guys to eventually come to my castle. That never happens. Why? Because folks are gonna say, wait right there, Henry. You're wrong. I want an explanation. I want to know why I came back to the town and we decided to split up and half the guys are dead and now the town is destroyed. Why? Why did you go to the big bad anyway? I would ask this of my players out of game, away from the table, and then they would turn around and say, because I know the guys, and this is what they would say. It's crazy how I know them. They would say, well, because we thought it was right to go and fight the fight and take it to the bad guy. That's great. It's a good answer. Great answer. But in my stories, there's also something called consequences. I don't like murder hobos. I've mentioned this before in earlier episodes of DM Talk. Murder hobos go in and they like to kill, 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 kill. In session 0, I told the guys, I'm like, look, if you're going to create a character that is murderous, at least have a story behind it. Why are you doing this? Those are the things you have to think about as a DM and as a player. If you're playing a game in somebody's table, be respectful. Talk it over with the DM. Hey, I want this guy to have multiple personalities, psychological personalities, stuff like that. How do you deal with it? Well, very simple, Henry. I want to make sure that this guy loses it in the game. If you have a story arc and you talk it over with your players and both of you, DM and player, agree on a story, that's wonderful. But no one else knows in the party, perfect. Murder hobos that just go in games, I've had them before, and they go ahead and they just kill, 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 kill. Everything because they want to is completely horrible. You don't want that because that's not having fun. And remember, the number one rule is having fun. And if DM's not having fun, and the player's not having fun, and nobody's having fun. No matter if you are the top DM or the middle guy, it don't really matter. You're going to have issues. You have to have some form of agreement, some form of talk with your players. That's why session 0 is so important. You have a talk to them, what they expect you, and so forth. Also, too, it's important is in a flow of a game, and this is all together. All this I'm mentioning is all part of that flow. Because if you're not in direct communication with your players, they know that their expectations are off of you, and your expectations of them are off. So now you have two people not coinciding, they're not working together, they're working away. It's just going to ruin everything. And you don't want that. You want to have fun. And if you can write an amazing story. And in your story, if you have people that are not getting along, then no. I'm very fortunate that I have a really good group. I have a group of guys that are great. I've got a total of 9. Now we have 7. And that's because Mike said murder hobos ruin games and break immersion as they would be hunted down by actual heroes. Yeah. Mike also doesn't agree as well. Murder hobos ruin games and break immersion as they would by hunted down by actual heroes. Yeah, you know what? That's true. Murder hobos are a big no-no. But like I was saying, thank you again, Mike, for your comment. It's awesome. In your game, if you don't have that communication with your players, you're going to have big issues. And how do you deal with that? How do you fix those issues? How do you fix interruptions of the flow? And all this is part of the flow. It's important. Your die rolling, your knowing of your character, making sure that, folks are on the right track. It's not railroading. To me, I have an open world. If I write that the heroes are going on the bridge to a castle, but they don't want to go on the bridge just yet. They want to go check out the forest because they might have saw something, because one of them is a ranger and he rolled perception and he had a high perception, so he wants to check out whatever he saw in the forest. Might be a fae, it might be, it It might be a hag. Who knows? It could be anything. It could be a tiefling, another NPC, in just cooking. They saw a fire in the distance. So whatever you want as a DM, make sure that your players and you are in communication. Because if not, there's going to be an eruption of the game. It's going to interrupt your flow. The third topic is, what do you do when you're tired as a DM? Man, I'm telling you, DMing, refereeing, storytelling, game mastering, whatever you're playing and you're behind a screen, it's a big deal. You have to, and we're doing experience. Last season 1, we did Milestone. And Milestone, I love Milestone over experience. Milestone, the way I did it is every 3 episodes, they have to meet a checkpoint. They get to the checkpoint, they went up a level. And going up a level in checkpoints much easier than doing experience. The guys now in season 2 are level 5. They have a total experience of 7,272, somewhere around there. They need, 14,000? Right, Mike? Is it 14,000 for the next level? Something like that. It's huge. So that puts a lot of pressure on a DM. What do I mean by that? And I keep saying that a lot. What do I mean by that? You have your flow of the game, right? And now you got to have your combat. You have to have a certain amount of combats, certain amount of rest, treasure, all that stuff. Realistically, in a game, in a story, the players, boom, they end here, they continue, boom, and they go. I'm doing an adventure called In Between Adventures on Discord. You can look us up, look up Playerole, and I'll put it here in the comments. Look up Playerole on Discord. Hit me up. Send me an invite, whatever. I'll send you an invite, and boom, you can see what the guys go through in between adventures, and they have their own little middle game. They get more experience just to add to the main game, because that's a lot of experience. And when you're running an experience game, there's a lot to do. The math on treasure, the balance, all that's important. Now, you don't want to give them a Holy Avenger at level 5, but there's charts that you can use for balance, for experience, and that's a lot, but you can pre-roll before. But prep, they say don't over prep. Don't do this, don't do that. But here's the thing. I love prepping. Prepping is my thing. I love prepping. I love the fact that you could literally prep your creatures, your NPCs, the treasure, all that stuff is cool shit. It really is. I'm with you, sir. A comment was, I like Milestone to keep record keeping simple. You're right. Milestone by far. It's my thing. But in session 0, everybody's like, no, let's go experience. So that's what we're doing in season 2. And they're learning a lot, because they're gonna see that the difficulty level of the fights are going to go up, and they have to be smart on strategy. It's not, again, guys, it's not against DM and players. You're not fighting. You're not taking anybody out. No, You're having a good time. Remember that. Having a good time. Give me 1 second. I want to grab my phone here. All right. So, having a good time is the number one thing you want to have in your game, right? Now, if you're running experience and you're here and you haven't gotten to the next level because you need to have maybe a dragon or two, which is a lot of experience, but a deadly fight, that's all I'm going to say is nod. I mean, the level of difficulty is going to go up. It's going to go up. And that flow it will be interrupted because of that difficulty. When you're fighting in a game and you have your miniatures and there's a battle map, and let's say they're fighting a red dragon. I roll a 6-sided in combat. It's a dragon's turn. And I got a 5 or a 6, a 5 and a 6, recharges, blast. Whew. That's a huge attack. That difficulty level is going to go up. They no longer are going to fight little things here and there. At level 1, 2, 3, they fought things. They got their experience. 4, bam. 5, bam. Level 6, holy shit. Yeah, it's that moment. They really got to go through that moment. They really got to focus in that. Even though I have the story written for tomorrow night, I'm thinking, without getting any spoilers, I'm thinking of changing a few things here and there. Because the difficulty level is going to go up. And the players have to meet and they have to work together. If you have a group of 6, 7 players and they don't work together, how would you like you're reading a story and half the main characters die? Awesome, isn't it? No, it's not very fun. But in a game like Dungeons and Dragons, or in any role-playing game, if you mess up and it's your fault because you wanted to charge that big bad and you know that there's a chance you might fail hitting it, and if you do, it's your fault. I want to give you an example by me. Another game. It was Star Wars. It was we played the new Star Wars version. I forgot the symbols. They have symbols on the die, no numbers or anything like that. It was. Let me see. I'll look it up real quick because I do have it. I do have the digital version of it, and I played a Force user. And let me tell you, it was tough. It's not like any other game you've played. It is, excuse me, I'm looking up right now the actual game. Star Wars, Edge of the Empire. That's what it's called. Yay. That game's difficulty is very high. Very, very high. And if you're a Star Wars fan, I will tell you that you love it. Very, very cool with the symbolism and very Star Wars feel. But the game, if you're a Force user, is very difficult. And I played a very difficult character. I didn't get my lightsaber till later. I had to learn how to build it till later. And the majority of the game, I had like a staff. Yep, that was me. And when my buddy Anthony, he DM'd, or he ran that game, and when I attacked his big bad, I thought to myself, man, this is stupid. What am I doing? So I attacked, and I got lucky. I rolled fantastic. Because in the game, if you get like light-sided, you get a certain symbol on the die. And if you get that die, let me look it up real quick, just to be sure. I don't want to screw up this story because it's a great story. If you get certain symbols, they give you a lot of advantages. And in that game, let me see here if I can look that up, because I have the template for that book, for that role-playing game. I have my character as well. So when I'm having problems finding it, of course, because I'm streaming and I'm trying to hurry. All right, so let me go back to the book and I'll look it up in the book. Anyways, it'd be a lot easier. All right, so Edge of the Empire, right? All right. So where is it? That's all I'm going to do is look up very quickly, and then I'll continue my story. And of course, it has digital copies, I tell you. All right. So, let me go back here. All right, the die. Character creation. No. All right, so, man, it's all I gotta do is see these die. Okay, so the die, you have your difficulty levels: simple, easy, average, hard, daunting, and formidable. Oh God. You just remember the dice pool. Yeah, so you have 2 yellow dice, the red. Man, it's crazy. Well, any of you who've played this game, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is something very cool. It is something very cool. They have symbols on it, and if you are in line with those symbols, you do better. The more symbols you get, on the positive side, on the light side, the better off you'll be. Anyways, the story was I went up against the big bad, and I got really good rolls on those symbol dice, and I kicked butt. In Dungeons and Dragons, strategy-wise is the big thing. If you go up against a big bad and you are going to take on that big bad by yourself, there is a chance that you might die. In Dungeons and Dragons, or any role-playing game, you're going to take out the big bad, you're going to die by yourself. That's why there's a team. You have 5 other players behind you, 5 or 6 other players behind you. You attack. Your strategy is he's too strong to take head on, so you back off. Stay in the back. If you're an archer, a ranger, there's your range attack. If you're a mage, warlock, sorcerer, wizard, whatever, use range attacks. Do something, strategize. If you're going up against a dragon, definitely don't go up to it. And season 1 was crazy. They had guys that were jumping, trying to jump to attack a dragon, and wow, it was crazy shit that they did. But you know what? It was epic. It made it fun. I didn't have a problem with that. They want to do crazy shit, fine. But know this, you will die. If you know you're going to do something wrong, it's not wrong. You're going to do something crazy, you know you're going to die. Now, the third topic, I said, the DM gets tired. Because the DM does, I'm doing experience, which is very taxing. NPCs, your world, your role-playing. You don't have to do voices. I love doing voices. I love doing crazy voices. I love doing crazy voices. I think voices are cool. I think voices make it fun. I've been doing that before, other big streamers were online. I've been doing that since I was a kid. But I will tell you, there's a lot of fun, and you can do that too. You don't have to, but it's fun. It's enjoyable. In the game, when the DM suffers of, oh, I'm fucking tired, and you're going on fumes, no sleep, or if you got sleep, you're just tired because your mind is fried, and it does happen because you're the world. Folks don't understand that. The DM is an NPC. The DM is a tree, the building, the creature, the sky, the day, the night, the tavern, everything. The DM is the talking point. The DM is a role point. The DM is the mediator. The DM is everything. And you can even say you're a deity. But that's the dungeon master. Referee, storyteller, whatever game you're playing. We're focusing on Dungeons and Dragons. You get tired. And how do you deal with getting tired? Oh, energy drinks, right? No. No. The best part of role-playing to me is when you sit back. This is how I get my rest. This is how I get a peace of mind. I always have water or something to drink with me. You put up a scenario and let the players do their thing, a riddle or whatnot. And when they discuss things for 5 minutes or so, or even 3, they just talk it over. And they're role playing. And they're like, what do we do? There's an episode that I did in season 2. The whole episode was a trap. It was a water trap. It was in a room. Never left. 4 hours and 20 minutes was that episode. Or around there. And I've never done that before. I've always had traps, but I've never done one session, that session, just a trap. And they had to figure it out. Riddle, move this, move that. A bunch of swords came out of the ground, different colors. They had to move them here, back and forth. That could have been boredom extreme. And it was, to some point, boring to some folks, but they realized that episode was important. And it really brought light. It was very advantageous to them in later episodes because it reflected to what they did before. Was that a risk? Absolutely. Will I take it back? Hell no. No. And I implore you as the DM to take as much risk as you want. Why? Because as DM, you have to have fun too. Not just about the players, it's about you having fun. And when you write something that you think deep down in your heart is going to work, then do it. Or you're like, if you're, maybe not, maybe I should, maybe, no, do it. Have fun. If there is always a chance, there's always a chance that it might fail miserably. And I've had games that were stinkers. I had games where folks didn't like it. And you're not going to please everybody. You're not. That's just the name of the game. So the only way to fight back fatigue is to make sure that the night before you role play, or that you get plenty of rest, don't think about the game. Just sleep, focus. Then when you get up, prep. let me tell you, now I don't mean prepping for the game. What I do before a big game, tomorrow's an 8 o'clock game. What I do is I make sure that I clean my house, the floors, just sweep, vacuum, and all that's important, guys, because I am telling you, when you are a DM, you want to make sure that the players, when they come to your place, is clean. Make sure that everybody's comfortable, the food prep, all that stuff. One of the guys, AJ, he's getting pizza for us, and I thank him for that. It's awesome. But the other guys are bringing drinks and other things, sides, to support the game. It's not just the game. It's an event. And yeah, we're streaming live. To me, it's a little bit bigger than just hanging out and playing the game with other guys or girls. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're streaming or not. If you're still doing it, I've always done it this way. Since I was 14, 15 years old. When I DM'd, whose turn is it to get food? I got it. I'm telling you, the community is the best thing. It's the best thing for Dungeons and Dragons and any role-playing game. The community is the core. Because without the community, there is no game. Think about it. It's a group of friends. It's a group that you're getting along, that you're sitting down and you're saying, man, we're going to eat pizza, we're going to eat, whatever, French fry, whatever you decide to get, macaroni and cheese, whatever it is. Or maybe you take a break and you go out and come back. And that's what I did too. I had 24-hour games. That's crazy. Where everybody, we played for 5+ hours, and then we got breakfast, we got lunch, we got dinner. Yeah, I'm a big geek, but that's when I was young, man. That's what we did. We role played. I wasn't the one that, I rode my bike. I did that stuff. I played ball. I did all that stuff too. But role playing was my main thing. I remember the guys were like, hey, you want to play Shadowrun? Ooh. Yeah, Shadowrun. What's Shadowrun for those of you who are in your 20s? Yeah, Shadowrun is an old school game. And those of you who are old school gamers like myself, they know what Shadowrun is. Not just Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons now has blown up to epic proportions because of the movies, certain scandals and certain things that are happening that made the game bigger. And even before that, the game was always, Dungeons and Dragons. Let's go to somebody's house and play a game. Yeah, let's do it. And that's what we do. But now, just because I'm streaming doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to get food. One person in the group will get food, and we rotate. If it's my turn, we'll do what it takes for food. That's what role-playing is about. It's more than just a game. We're having fun, fantasy, all that stuff. Music, all that stuff is cool. But as a DM, like for tomorrow, I cleaned up. Make sure it's dishes, the floor, all that's important because you want your presentation to be good. They walk in and we start at 8 o'clock. And I give my wife 2 big thumbs up. She's a sweetheart, and 2, she's a big supporter of this endeavor that I'm on and we're on in my group. And let me tell you, my wife and my daughters, they're a big supporter as well. And it's great to know that they support me in this endeavor because it's a big thing. And it's cumbersome. It is very, very cumbersome to them because life stops at 8 o'clock and we go to about 12 midnight, 12:30, whatever. And we play and we film, and that's every other week. and I really give them credit for that. They are a big supporter of my cause, of this endeavor, and it can be tasking. So for the third topic, when you are tired, if I get tired, I get tired. And when I'm done with tomorrow night, I'm done. But it's not over, because pizza boxes, I clean up before and after. So if we're done at 12:30 at night, right, in the morning, 12:30 in the morning, then when everybody leaves, sometimes it's 1 o'clock, 1:30, I'm up to about 3:30 cleaning up. Because as my wife supports my endeavor, I don't want her to get up in the morning, or my daughters, and start cleaning our mess. I don't want to do that. So I really, really make sure that everything is clean, out of the way, because that's all part of role playing. Guys, I'm telling you, when you go to somebody's house, if they're married and if they're not married, they have their own set of rules. Guys, bring pizza. Guys, you got the chips, whatever. Every person that role plays has a certain aspect of rules, not just from the books, but hey George, you gonna get pizza tomorrow? Yeah, we got pizza. All right, he's got pizza. You guys got signs. Let's support him. I've done that all the time. And when you do that, that group, that bond you have is fantastic. It's more than just let's go play ball or let's go to the bar. It's a lot more than that. And a gamer like myself only knows, and you guys know in streaming world, you guys know, if you're a gamer, you know that bond that you have with your players, Dungeon Master, the group, the community. You have that bond. That's what it is. I can go to Gen Con, I can walk into any gaming store, and everybody, you bring up Magic, you bring up Dungeons and Dragons, you bring up any role-playing game, and you'll have that communication, that connection with somebody. That's what I love about the community. That's what I love about gaming. It's more than just playing basketball or football or riding a bike or doing whatever. You can go in and talk about anybody about it. And boom, you're connected. Yeah, you could say, yeah, but that guy knows football, I know football, we both have the same in common. But in role-playing, the gaming community is a lot different. The bond is a lot more. Because, yeah, you could get connected with somebody who knows football and they know fantasy football and you have fun. Yeah, but this goes deeper. Because when you're behind the screen, you know you're talking about a world you're building. And my world is dominionless. And I really want it to kick off. I want things to kick off. So in season 1, they started in the west portion of the world. Season 2, they're in the east. So, and they're making their way, adventuring out. They're in the Underdark right now, but they're adventuring out, figuring things out, what's going on in the world. When I run my games, and going back to running games, it got a little bit personal, but it's okay. I like doing that. I want you guys to know about me. That way, when you watch my games, you're like, hey, cool. That's all I want. And it's good to know people, because it's good that I'm talking about myself, and it's good that you guys are watching, because that's another good thing. Keep watching, because I got a lot of content coming. Hey, what's up? All right. Gotcha. Thank you on Twitter. Thank you for your comment. Anyways, the thing is, when you are behind the screen, the DM screen, and you watch your players go and they're having fun and they're talking amongst themselves and they try to figure out a riddle or do whatever, that to me is you're easing your mind. You're sitting back, you're relaxing, and watching your story develop, watching everyone enjoy what you wrote. That to me is a huge climb. That to me is fantastic. That's how I rest. How I would how I deal with fatigue. If I'm tired, um, if I'm tired, then that's how I deal with situations. Is I enjoy the role playing moments for my players. Now, if you truly are tired, and how do you deal with all that? Then look, the only way to do it is for you to get some sleep before the game. Well, why am I? It's almost 1:00 in the morning, Henry. Well, you got a big game tomorrow, so why are you streaming? Well, one, I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. Two, tomorrow I have a big day. Like I said, I do clean up and all that stuff before everybody comes over. And if I remember, I'm going to film, not live stream. I'm going to record it and I'm going to put it out how I set up. It's crazy. It's crazy how I set up and take things apart. I have blue tape, painter's tape, holding my wires and all the lines on the ground because I have a dog, an English setter, who I love her to death, but she is crazy. She runs, she has a lot of energy. He's 2 years old, I think. Yeah, somewhere around there. And she is crazy, and she goes all over the place. She runs, and at one time, her paw got stuck on one of the cables, and everything almost came down. If it wasn't for my wife holding on, everything would have just toppled. It would have been crazy. So then I said, no more. The blue tape is on the ground, just holding everything down. I have to. And it takes me a while to get this set up. And if I remember, I am going to record it and then upload it so you guys can see it on Sunday. What I do before and after. It is very, very tiresome. But so if I we generally play between 8, we have a break at 9:30, and then we go all the way till about 12 o'clock, 12:30, somewhere around there. And then when everybody's gone, about 2:30-ish, 2:45-ish, almost 3 o'clock, somewhere around there, I clean up. And once I clean up, I'm not even done yet, because on Sunday, what I do is I upload everything on audio, on Spotify, iHeartradio. I make sure that all the podcast comes out. Make sure that I get my advertisement out as well, and that's done every 2 weeks. And it's fun. It's fun. I love doing it. Thank you, Jacksville from Twitch. Thank you for watching. Everyone, thank you for watching. I'm not signing off. I'm just saying thank you for watching. I'm talking a lot tonight because I have a lot to say. I had a lot to say about flow of the game. I had a lot to say about being tired. And I had a lot to say about gamers in the community. But I will say this. My ending comments, my ending statement. I will say that it's because of you that I'm here. The more people watch Playerole, I'm going to throw out content anyways, but let the word out. Let them know about Playerole. Let them know, I'm up and coming, man. We're coming up. We're on fire. The guys are on fire. I got a great story. I get into my characters. I role play my ass off. So do the guys. I want you all to know that tomorrow night is a big night, a big event, 8 p.m. Central. Watch us, let people know. And every other Friday, I have 2 little shows, DM Talk and Creatures of the Realm. Creatures of the Realm, I go over the monster manual from A to Z. Go each monster. I review it A through F. DM Talk, I talk about any topic. Normally, I don't do free for all. I did a couple episodes that did free for all. And I think next time around I'll do free for all for DM Talk. But season 1 for Creatures of the Realm is going to go 50 episodes. I'm at 43, and then I'm going to continue with DM Talk. When I hit 50, then I'll do season 2. And season 2 for both little shows are going to be a lot different. So I'm going to try to do things fresh each season, something different, something innovative for everybody can enjoy. I just love writing. I love to do things to entertain. Entertainment is my forte, and hopefully you guys will stick with us. Anyways, that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching DM Talk, and that was my cat. You're going to probably hear her in the background every now and then. She likes to jump on my computer, so I might hold her through filming every now and then. She likes to jump all over the place. Either way, I'll see you guys tomorrow night, and hopefully, let the word out. Let everybody know about Playerole. All right? Thank you much. I'll see you.